turn to the person next to you and say, let's keep it real. Let's keep it real, okay, folks? You can't do a moral inventory if you're not keeping it real. And I know that's the kind of street language to be able to keep it real. Hey, Elder Mauricio, let's keep it real. Let's keep it real. All right. You know, it's that let's be authentic with one another. Let's really look at the aspects of our lives that may be hurting and areas that need to be worked on. So I wanted to introduce this idea because we all get stuck sometimes, don't we? Don't you all get stuck in something in your life and get stuck and you can't seem to get out of this pattern. It's like a loop reel again and again and again, and you say, man, this is like Groundhog Day. And just life isn't getting any better in these areas. And so that's kind of what we're addressing today. So I want to tell you a little story. I remember when I was in college, I had some friends who didn't grow up in the Los Angeles area, and so I wanted to show them my LA, the LA that maybe most people didn't see. And so I took two of my friends during the summer to a place called La Brea Carpets. Any of you guys been to the La Brea Carpets? It's in downtown Los Angeles, and basically they put these fences around these carpets because what was dangerous thousands of years ago to woolly mammoths, they got caught in the oil and gunk of the tar pits, and once they got caught, what happened? The more they struggled, the more they sunk in, and then they were preserved underneath. But it was like this is not a good thing. It was like a pit of death. And I remember just taking my friends there, and there was this little bird, this little sparrow that was shh, and went over the fence because there was a fence to keep people from falling into the pit, and it fell into the water. I wanted to just jump the fence and grab that sparrow out of there. The more the sparrow struggled, the more the sparrow got covered in tar and then got stuck. That's so much like a lot of us, isn't it? That we sometimes will get stuck in something in life and we just won't know how to get out of it. Well, today's topic of getting real and doing the moral inventory, it's all about, hey, if what we're doing isn't working, let's write it down and say, God, help me in certain areas of my life that may be causing me to drink too much or burst out in anger, resent people. All of these things that are not positive traits, these are all symptoms of the fact that there may be some deeper thing going on, maybe some deeper pain. And so as we consider writing and doing a moral inventory, we're going to be able to get out of that. So let's look at the first 3 weeks of the AA program so we can kind of see where we come from. The first one. The first step is... It's not there? Okay, so I thought I put it in there, but it looks like it didn't get in there. Hey, okay, so I got it memorized by now, right? So the first step is it's also on the back of your guide here. It's that we admitted to ourselves we're powerless over our fatal attraction to do wrong. Our lives have become unmanageable. And so we just, it's another sign that says that we need God in our lives to help us. If we think we are got everything under control in our lives, and that takes us to step 2. Came to believe that a power greater than ourselves could restore us to sanity. Because when we think that we're all in charge, when we think we're God, then that's the definition of insanity, isn't it? Are you God? No. So if you say you're going around saying I'm God, then you could be insane. And then number 3, last week was we made the decision to turn our lives and our wills over to the care of God. So we can say, Lord, I'm going to give my life over to you because I want to be in relationship with you, because I know that you can help me through life struggles better than I can do it by myself. And then this week, once again, we resolved to make a searching and fearless moral inventory of ourselves. And so I just wanted to say again that everybody gets stuck in these moments that we can't get out of, and then everybody gets stuck in ways that it's no matter how heroic, how Herculean in your effort, no matter how much you will to try to change certain things in your life, there's those things that you just can't do. So that's why getting real is the only advisable way to get unstuck when we get stuck in those types of moments. Here's the interesting thing about Jesus. Jesus was like a master, seafood of moral inventories. He would walk around, Palestine, and he would get into adventures with people by listening to them first. Jesus was a great listener. But was Jesus always gentle, loving, and kind with people? Well, he was pretty kind, but he wasn't always that gentle, soft, cuddly, huggy bear Jesus that we like to see in the children's sermons, right? like the master of moral inventory. And so he does that throughout the scriptures. Because he knows that people's hearts and their symptoms of weakness and illnesses are there. In Matthew 23, Jesus is talking to the Pharisees and scribes, and these are the people that are the teachers that are leading the people of Israel, and he's trying to tell them, hey, the more I'm listening to you guys, the more I'm beginning to realize you guys are whitewashing the walls of your heart. You guys know what whitewashing is? You see a wall that gets all messed up, and then you paint it over it, and you just... But underneath is still the same mess that was always there. Jesus was just, just pointing out that you guys are the people who ought to know the best about how to what's going on in your hearts, but instead you say one thing and you do the other. You see, there's a danger when our insides and our outsides don't match. It's kind of, psychologists call this a double bind. We could live in this double bind, and all of a sudden it can create a lot of stress in ourselves. And if this double bind gets deep enough in ourselves, and we're not even going to know why we're stressed. Have you guys ever just felt that term anxiety? You guys ever just felt anxious? And you don't always even know what caused you anxious. And it could have been something that happened a couple days ago, it could have happened a week ago, it could have happened that morning, but because you didn't deal with it that night, maybe you didn't take it to the Lord and say, God, this evening, this day was a mess. Maybe you write it down and you say, Lord, maybe there's certain things that maybe tomorrow I want to, not do. There's this thing about confessing and sharing and bringing before God, and these are the things that I want to improve on. These are the things that I could learn from. And when we do that on a regular basis, this moral inventory, it helps clear out the negative realm, and it helps us to find more space for working on the things that are right before us. The challenge is, so let me ask you this question: what is this more fearless moral inventory? Well, one of the ways to look at it is it's fact-finding and fact-facing. You find the facts, then you face it. Everybody put your hands palm in front of your hand and face like that. You got to face it. You find it, and you face it. It's as simple as that. When we do that, we're able to actually look at, what is it that we need to be working on. But here, let me tell you, something that prevents us from becoming good at this is that I'll tell you what, I'm a master of moral inventory for you. I can look at you, and I can judge quickly up and down within seconds and get my master's and PhD in being a moral inventory of others. You guys know what I'm talking about? It's so easy to judge my wife, judge my kids, judge my boss, judge everything, judge the way that neighbor drives. I don't like the way that person cuts their lawn. It's so easy to do that, isn't it? So we all have the capacity to do moral inventory. It's just hard to do that moral inventory on ourselves. Okay, so as long as we're clear about that, we all know how to do moral inventory and finger shaking. So just because the Pharisees and scribes did it, we don't need to be judgmental in that way. All right, so that's why in Matthew 7, Jesus talks to an individual and says, you have got, you point out that there's sawdust in other people's eyes, but you've got a 2x4 in your eye. And it's just so hard to see. Jesus just is like master moral inventory. He's just like, you can't see it. He just says it in 2 sentences. And he's just, laid out what the issue is in the heart. See, when you're regularly in connection with God and the Holy Spirit, you're often asking this question: where am I to blame in this situation? When I got into an argument with my best friend at school, or someone I blew up at the cashier at Vons, you might want to take a moment to say, what part of that situation am I to blame? What should I have done differently? I mean, that's what a Christian does, right? How many of you guys think that's what Christians should be doing? But it's so easy because even Christians, we do this. We're going to do this. If they didn't do this, then I wouldn't have done that. That person did this, and so that's why I had to do that. And so what's that called? What? Self-justification, right? So the moral inventory thing is hard. It is hard work because it is so easy. I tell you, it is so easy to be able to blame others and not blame ourselves and look for what we could have done differently. So the actual deep moral inventory of the fearless moral inventory is that, let me tell you a little secret. The first time you do it, the very first time you do it, it's going to take time, and it may take a day, it may take several days, it may take several weeks, it may take several months before you actually do the full moral inventory. I have a shortened version of it in the back of our sermon notes today if you ever wanted to do one for yourself. But the whole idea of this moral inventory is that you go through this, and you may say, you know what? I'm not ready to go there. The divorce I had 10 years ago, not ready to go there. The car accident that I didn't fess up to the hit and run, I don't want to go there. Customers that I, cheated out of, maybe 25 cents over 25 years and change, I don't want to go there. You may not want to go there initially, but then as you get better and better at writing out these things, you begin to say, Lord, I don't need to fear doing a moral inventory. If you're around a safe person, you guys ever have a burden in your heart? And you go and you find a safe person, say, oh, look, that's Suzanne, I got to know her. I know if I say something to Suzanne, she's not going to judge me. I don't need to worry. She ain't going to, So I go and talk to Suzanne, and Suzanne's a safe person. I, share my whatever concern is that I'm struggling with. And then I feel what? After I might have shared my burden or my struggle, what happens? Sometimes it feels, you feel relieved. Because another human being has heard it, and she would pray for me and say, Jake, maybe give me some perspective and whatnot. The challenge here is that sometimes we don't want to do that because we think that maybe there's, maybe God, well, we do this with God. The question is God safe? Is God safe? Do we really truly believe what we sing about and pray about, that God is safe? Of course. Each and every day we say, God loves us. And so if we have a loving God, a loving heavenly parent, then this heavenly parent, when we take our issues to God, it's not a place where, the walls and the shakes should, preside, because that's usually based on fear. Usually the times when we're acting up in life in resentment, anger, and maybe I even put it in here, some of us in our sexual conduct or misconduct, these things are often symptoms of the fact that we live in some sort of fear or some sort of pain in our lives. And these are the ways that it expresses itself. But what we need to remember is that when we go to these places with God, God doesn't shame us. God loves us. Everyone, I need you guys to get this lesson. God doesn't shame us. God loves us. When you say that out loud again, this is a mantra. God doesn't shame us. God loves us. God doesn't shame us. God loves us. God, we talk about this week after week in our prayer of confession. Why do we have this wonderful gift called the prayer of confession each week? Because we confess our sins, we confess that we have areas that we can grow, and then we just know that God accepts us, and loves us, and wants us to improve in all of those areas. God does not shame us, God loves us. And that's the kind of community we want to be, don't we? That kind of church that we want to be. It's not the kind of Christian that we want to be. Not a shaming person, but a loving person. A person who learns to accept and say, hey, we're all human, because we know the various steps of the AA program, and of course, yeah, we all struggle with issues that are uncontrollable in life. But yet at the same time, we know that we are loved by God, and that power in the universe can heal us. One of the things that we'll often see in the person who's been doing the moral inventory regularly is they're quick to say, I'm sorry. Hey, I'm sorry, man. I might not have seen it. I listen. You say sorry. You listen, you figure out a situation, you hurt, you see that someone's been hurt, you say, hey, I'm sorry, I apologize, and you move forward. That's a symbol, a sign that someone has been doing some moral inventory in their lives. One of the things that we do, and one of the blessings that we get out of all of this is that in Psalm 139 it says, search me, O God, know my heart. Search me, that when we do this, it says that it leads me in the ways of everlasting. Here's a payoff, the everlasting life. We're living the ways of Jesus, living the ways of God in the Old Testament and the New that leads to life, as we learn to say, I'm sorry. And so here's the thing. Even the way we say sorry is really important, isn't it? Because there's in Paul in 1 Corinthians chapter 40, he says, I love how this, he says this, he phrases this, my conscience is clear, but that does not make me innocent. Have you guys ever had that experience where my conscience is clear? I get this in the back of my car because I have two boys, and so fortunately now we've come to a brilliant solution, because what ends up happening is that Ari will find something he doesn't like about Avi, and he'll say, Avi looked at me funny, punch, crying, and then Ari's conscience is clear. I deserve to punch him in the face because he looked at me funny, or Avi lied to me. That's the other thing I always hear. Well, Avi didn't lie. Avi just remembers the facts differently than you do. Well, that doesn't matter, because Ari's a real justice and facts kind of guy, so that doesn't matter. Punch. So we've come up with a solution. We have a minivan, and so we put one kid in the very back, and then one kid in the middle row, and then now there's a little bit less fisticuffs going on. But still, once again, this moral inventory thing, it's really hard to do. And that little gap, that Herculean gap, is provided and healed and connected and bridged by God. We can't do that on our own. We can't do a moral inventory by ourselves. This is how deceptive our hearts are. The old and the new, just as we often fool ourselves. But God wants so much for us as a community, as a people, as a church, that God is saying, bring your issues to me. I've got big arms. Jesus as Atlas, carrying the world on his shoulder. He says, bring it on. I can take it. I love you. Bring what's bothering you today, son. What's bothering you today, daughter? I want to hear from you. So, I just want to go over the 4 areas real quickly. I'm not going to go question by question on this, but there's 4 areas of the moral inventory that you'll find in the back. It's right on the bottom. This is a modified moral inventory. It says there's 4 areas that AA recommends that you look at: your resentments, your fears, the harm, when you've been hurt, and sexual conduct. Especially today, in the Me Too movement, hashtag Me Too movement, I think it's also important for us to ask ourselves, what about our sexual conduct? I know the frozen jokes that maybe we don't have sex in the present church. I kid. Yeah, you guys think that's something? But I think all 4 of these areas are really worthwhile. So I'm going to just look at one area and doing a moral inventory. So I had a friend, and she was a management consultant, and she had been really successful, but they had a new manager come in. And this new manager just did things differently. And so she did the first question, towards whom am I angry? Because she realized that she was angry. But she did the Christian thing. I'm not angry. I've just given it to the Lord. Oh, I've just learned to accept. She said all the nice Christianese type things, but she was actually angry that this new manager of the management company came in, because this was her career, this is her future, this is her life. How could this have happened? God, I blame you. And then she asked this question: why am I angry? Because she said, well, this person was doing things differently than she was expecting to do. And a lot of other people she felt were upset with the changes, and so she got in a darker and darker place. It says, question number 3, how does this anger show up in my life? And so it showed up in her life. She yelled at her husband regularly. She was regularly getting speeding tickets and blowing up at the kids. These were all symptoms of her resentment. And then she said, well, she has to ask that 4th question: where am I to blame? Where am I to blame? And that was the hard part. She had to then realize that rather than taking things and being patient with the changes, she got a group of other co-workers together. They started complaining about the new management. Man, that new management is just horrible, ain't it? Oh yeah, I like the old boss better. Or I like the boss from two administration changes ago. And so this was this kind of unofficial office coffee clutch. And that she was so ashamed when she realized that, and she wouldn't have got there if she hadn't done the moral inventory, all the steps. When she got to the 4th step, she said, where am I to blame in my anger, in my resentment. And she realized she was feeding her resentment by, getting more people on her side and trying to get everyone to realize that that they are the victims of this travesty. You can see that when you do a moral inventory in these 4 categories, the question, do you just write as much as you can under each one until you feel like you've written enough, and then you move on to the next question, and that's the next question, and that's the next question. So I'm going to conclude with this. At the end of Jesus' life, Jesus was where? He was on the cross of Calvary. And there were 2 guys, there were 2 thieves. One thief on the right who went, Jesus, you're a fool, and you're here with us dying. Totally clueless. And the other thief looked at Jesus, looked at himself. He did a moral inventory of himself, and he said, look, Jesus, you have no sin in your life. You have nothing to blame. I want to be with you. You're morally blameless in all of this. And Jesus at that moment, because he does that moral inventory, he says, son, today, you'll be with me in paradise. And Jesus dies, and because of that moment, you see, when we do a moral inventory of ourselves, and we assess our lives, and we look at Jesus, that little moment of doing that can totally change everything. Change the trajectory of our lives here, heavenward, away from the negativity, and into the ways of heaven. Join me in prayer. Dear gracious God, what a gift you give us when we can confess our sins before you, knowing that we have a safe God who loves us. Hear our prayers this week as those who are in life groups or in various groups, maybe in the privacy of our homes, or maybe with a friend. We're going to do the moral inventory this week. Lord, help us to not fear. Help us to not get anxious. Help us to know that you only want us to improve and grow in each and every way that you want us to do, so we can build up your kingdom, but also be a blessing to all those around us. In Jesus Christ's name.